Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Tom. You might recognize me from such lectures as Medicine Gone Wild and Research Shouldn't Be So Smelly. Today, I'm here to tell you about some amazing discoveries that have recently been made in the world of completely awful science. Based on the horrible research we did with the 3 subjects you're about to hear from, we've determined that men's brains are overpowered and manipulated by women's sexuality. It's really amazing. Take subject A here as an example. Let's have him tell us his story.
Well, the first time that it happened to me, experiencing the power of a woman's super sexuality was when I was about 14 years old. I was at my parents' house and a couple of friends came over. One of them was Sally. I'd only gotten to hang out with her a couple of times, because every time I got close to her, I'd be overtaken by her beauty, She had hair and eyes and a butt, dude. She was amazing.
Oh my goodness, hair and eyes and a butt? You poor, poor man. Tell us more.
Right. So she was at my parents' place and I just couldn't take it anymore, man. Yeah, she looked so good and she was so sexy. I just had to have her right then. Yeah, it was like she'd put a voodoo curse on me, to have control over me, and I just had to have her, like in the movies, So I walked up to her and I said, "I have to have you." And she was like, "For what?" And then I was like totally clever and said, "Forever." And then she was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I said, "You know what I'm talking about, don't you?" And she was like, "No, I don't." She was totally toying with me, It was like she knew how exactly to play with my mind, so I'd want her even more. So I grabbed her and I kissed her. Dude, then she punched me in the face. Hard.
Oh my goodness. Well, that just shows you how powerful women's control over men is. Subject A, thanks for sharing your story. Now let's hear from Subject B.
My story. Well, mine begins when I was at a bar. I was having a good time. I'd been, drinking a bit, and that's when I saw her. she was all dressed sexy, a t-shirt and jeans. It was irresistible. I had to stare at her for a bit. Lucky for me, I'm really clever at staring at girls without them noticing. Yeah, see, I kind of do this. Right. Well, and when that move doesn't work, well, I give them this little shimmy glance shake thing here. Here, watch it. Anyway, she was with a bunch of her friends, and they must have thought I was cute because they kept looking over at me and laughing. Well, anyway, when I came up to her at the bar where I was sitting, well, I knew exactly what I had to do. I mean, this girl had been sending me all the signals all night long. I was on a roll. So being clever, I asked her, I asked, "Hey, do you know what time it is?" Now she looked at me and she told me it was 10:35. I mean, could she have been any more direct? Could she have sent me any more clear a signal? I knew right then that we were gonna have sex. It was glaringly obvious. She wanted me, and watching her walk back, to her table. You know how they walk. It's kind of like this, right? Yeah, that walk. Well, after I saw her with that walk, I knew that I had to have her.
Oh no, you had to watch her walk. That's terrible. So, what happened next?
Well, I waited her out, see? Because I knew that she was trying to turn me on by ignoring me. So I waited and I waited for the right moment. Then it happened. She got up with her friends and I walked over to her. I walked over to her and I said, "It's obvious how we feel about each other. So let's just skip through the formalities and go back to my place." pretty clever. And they were all silent. And then, and I still can't believe it, she said, "No thanks," and left. I was devastated. Devastated. I couldn't figure out where I'd gone wrong. And that's just one example how I know that women are all slutty little temptresses. I mean, she just messed with my mind on purpose. For hours. Heck, she's lucky I'm a nice guy, because she'd deserve what I'd have done to her if I wasn't.
Right you are, Subject B. How could you possibly have made such a mistake if she hadn't been overwhelming you with her womanly powers, right? Okay, everybody, one last subject here to show you how obvious it is that women can control men's minds. Subject C, why don't you tell us your story?
Okay. So I don't usually like to party, but there was this one time there was a party in our office. So I was in the lunchroom having an iced tea when I saw her. Oh, she was so darn pretty. Well, the more I looked at her, the more I wanted to get down and dirty with her. She was really starting to get into my head. I mean, the way she stopped to put the paper in the copier, oh man, was she sending signals. I asked her, "Hey, why are you working? Come to the party." And she told me that she would soon, but had some things that she needed to take care of. When she was talking, though, all I could think about was her and her sexy ways, because she was almost forcing me to pay attention to her body, dressed extra special, spicy sexy with her shirt and blouse. Well, the world just didn't compute anymore. So I told her, "Hey, why don't I be your copy buddy? We can make copies together all night long, if you know what I mean." I followed her around the office for a little bit more, and then she said, "Go away." Now, I knew that she didn't really mean it. I mean, she was just saying that to make me want her more. I wasn't sure what to do, so I approached her the best way I knew how, through dancing. She had finally joined the party, and she was talking to some people, and so I started dancing towards her, you know. Well, before you knew it, I was dancing with her. My friends kept saying she didn't even know I was there because she never looked at me. But I knew from our earlier conversation that she was sending me all these messages with her body and her eyes, and that she wanted to do me. And then, well, this part of the story is kind of embarrassing. I got so excited that I had a malfunction of sorts. I had to leave the office. Now, if I didn't have to go home early, though, we'd have done it that night for sure. She was just so super duper hot that I couldn't control myself.
Oh no! That must have been messy. And that's our final example of women's power to manipulate and control men's minds. Thanks for tuning into Really Bad Science. Bye!